What's up, guys? JP here with the Leprechaun Fantasy Workshop. We are here to discuss encounters. We're going to call this Encounter Saturdays. And so, as a DM, as a big-time player, that kind of thing, yeah, there is a lot of cool things that you can do with encounters. But encounters are not just, hey, let me throw enemies at my players so it gives them something to do or give them action in combat. It's a way to progress your game, way to tell a story, way to, challenge your players, make them think, make them, overcome an obstacle or something like that. So today's topic we're going to talk about is Hags. They're one of my favorite obstacles in a game. They're extremely versatile. There's actually Hags for a whole bunch of, they're like party favors. There's one for all occasions. But there's also different ways to use them. We're going to talk about a couple concepts that people use for Hags that I'm actually taking these from media, like movies, books, that kind of stuff. Your common witch stories, and how you can turn them on their heads and, I don't want to say mess with your players, but give them a challenge, but presenting the same concept over and over again, but it's always different. So, what is a Hag to begin off with? Hags are like, old crones. They're usually this typical witch, the good witch and a bad witch. We go Wizard of Oz with it. The ugly, bad, evil witches are the Hags. And you've got a whole number. You got, night hags, you've got green hags, you've got sea hags. There is the Behir hags, which are like winter style. So, a green hag is like forest, swamps, the whole, get out of my swamp. You've got the sea hags, which I love sea hags. They're great use, have one, living inside of a shipwreck, something like that. That kind of thing. And then you got the night hags, which I love the concept of a night hag in the sense of the taking children in the night, that kind of like hocus pocus kind of thing. Now, obviously these can be used in any variety that you want to use them in. Doing a Freddy Krueger, night hags, messing with your dreams, that kind of stuff. And I'm not really going to define them or like that because this isn't a, D&D centered only. But I wanted to talk about the stories in which you could use them. So, you can always go with, again, the whole Wizard of Oz style of, the players possess something that the witch wants, the ruby slippers, and they're going after it. And so they pursue the creatures, that kind of stuff. You can go critical role with it. There's a curse that was performed on a character in their backstory, something like that, and this hag is the only way to break that curse, and so they have to deal with them down the road and appease them or destroy them in order to get that curse removed. There are some cool things with hags in that if you're a fan of shows like Futurama, they have another show made by the same folks who Ever After. It's one of their fantasy ones, and they do like a Hansel and Gretel, but they turn it on its head, and Hansel and Gretel are actually the monsters, and the witch is actually the good guy or not the evil one. You can do that. So one of the encounters that I wrote back in the day that I have is that, hey, there's this witch. The town, children have gone missing. The town is, revolting, whatever like that. Go and, and they put the players on the quest. How you put them on the quest is inconsequential. You could have them wandering in the woods and hear the cackling of laughter. You could hear the crying of children. You could hear whatever and draw them in that way. The old town folk of, children missing, can you find us and save us? Whatever. How you get the encounter to start, that's your guys' own prerogative. You can do a quest giver, you can give a bulletin board, you can do a milk carton. Hey, look, there they are. They're on the back of my milk carton. This is not a sponsored product. They're on the back of the milk carton, missing. Find our children, and blah blah blah. However you want to do it is fine. But here's how you twist it on its head. So let's play Hansel and Gretel, because it's one of the most famous witch stories ever. Hansel and Gretel, kids wandering through the woods, find a house of candy, start nibbling on it. Witch captures them, wants to eat them, fattens one up while she makes the other, be a slave. And they trick her, kill her, and end of story. Well, turn that story on the head. So you have the movie Hansel and Gretel that came out recently that I don't remember when it came out, and it was like 5 years ago or something like that. Might have been longer. In which Hansel and Gretel actually defeat the witch, and then they become witch hunters. Cool concept, flipping the story on its head. That's what I'm talking about. Give the players something that they perceive to be, oh, this is like that story, this guy's not creative at all, and I'm going to approach it and handle it the way I handle it. Well, screw with them. Like you don't, I hate cookie cutter players and cookie cutter stories. Mess with your players. Make them have to think, show them you're smarter than they are. That's the whole thing. Like DMs who, step by step, now you're going to kill this guy, now you kill this guy, and each time you'll drop a clue. No. It's like playing Legends of Zelda, and there's, it always blows my mind. Ganon, if he was a real bad boss, he wouldn't give all the keys to all the doors and the boss, you have to find some other way. Other than, oh, he hid the boss key, now he can get to my bad guy. It's dumb. So, screw with them. So, good example, the players are wandering through the woods, they hear the, crying of children, whatever, the laughing of children, whatever, and they know the children are missing. You set up the story. And what they encounter is a old witch's hut kind of thing. There is a green hag standing there, and there's 2 children, and there's a giant cooking pot. What do the players do? Most players will just, for the good of the kingdom, and, try and take off and fight the hag. But, flip it on the head. What happens if the 2 children are vampires? Well, now you've got an extremely high-level encounter, and the vampires were actually controlling the witch. You can have children vampires, that's totally a real thing. So now they have to deal with, what they thought was, so while they're attacking this innocent hag, doesn't even have to be a hag, it could be just like a woman that the vampires made look like a hag, whatever. I mean, you tell the story. And so now they have to fight that encounter, and I can tell you right now, even, I wrote that encounter for my players who were at level 8 or 9 right now. And that was a deadly encounter. 2 vampires versus 6 players of a higher rank. Now, I tweak a little bit of stuff, but that was a serious encounter. So, flip it on its head. Another example, you have Villagers. There's a movie I love. It's a horror movie. And it's called Darkness Falls. Concept of the movie is kind of like messing with the tooth fairy kind of idea. Like, there was a woman who kids would bring her teeth. She'd give them sweets or whatever like that. And 2 kids go missing in the woods. Something like that. And the town goes all, Freddy Krueger on them and thinks that this woman did it and kills her. And then the 2 children just show up. And, hey, we were lost in the woods. Like, what's going on? And now the town killed this woman, and in doing so, she cursed them, and she snatches their children and all this other stuff. Watch the movie, it's really great. There's a lot more to it. That's literally the first 5 minutes of the movie. Anyways, so play with that trope. You can take that trope, just like I said with, I cannot remember what that show is. It's the makers of Futurama. If you Google it, they have a fairy tale version of it, and in it, Hansel and Gretel, like I said, are cannibals. They eat people. It's hilarious. Play with the trope of, if you're a hag, it's the hag could be completely innocent. What happens? I mean, again, why does a hag have to be evil? I mean, yeah, the monster manual will have it as like chaotic evil or evil. Mess with them. She's neutral. I mean, make a joke here, and doesn't mean that I like it, but Twilight it, make her a vegetarian hag. She's not interested in the sorrows of people. She's interested in the sorrows of, whatever. It's you guys play with the concept of it, and you tell the story in a way that will challenge it. So yeah, going back to the Darkness Falls thing, have kids go missing in a town. The town instantly assumes, hey, well, this person's bad. We got to go get them. And, your players either talk them down or join in the mob. And if they do go through with it and kill the woman, well, then make her come back as a revenant. A revenant lives for a year. You now have a revenant hag hunting down your party all the time. It doesn't matter how many times they kill her, she'll come back. That's the cool thing about a revenant, is even if you destroy the body with divine magic, it comes back over and over and over and over and over again. It's awesome. I love revenants too. They're one of my. We're gonna do a thing on encounters with a revenant. I've got a number of things written for those that we've done. But yeah, that's another concept. If put a challenge in there where you're challenging the status quo. Normally the story is this. Write it so it's not this. It's something else. So you've got first concept. Hag's not bad. Well, next concept. Hag is super bad. So here's another one I like to do. I think I called this the Tin Man or something like that. So hags have a lot of abilities that are based in magic, that kind of stuff. And I mean, a hag is kind of like a woman humanoid like figure, and it's famous with hags putting curses and hexes on people. Hex girls. If you're younger, you'll get the reference. If you're older, you'll get that reference. If you're cool, you'll get that reference. So what another encounter I did is a hag approaches a armor merchant, like an armor merchant, or whatever. And he's got a cart full of armor and stuff, and he's moving through the woods. She approaches him, either she's a fortune. You tell the story. Is she a fortune teller? Is she, whatever her guise is, and he rebukes her. Go away, get out of the road, piss off, whatever. Well, she curses him, and what better way to curse an armor maker than creating an animated armor? Again, it's a D&D monster. It's awesome. It's so now you have a walking suit of armor. Or you can go straight up. Again, this is a real thing. This is in media. This is older, but it's in media. It's a Disney movie. Bedknobs and Broomsticks hit. The end of the... I don't... Spoiler alert. End of the movie, a witch literally animates an army of armor that fight, hilariously enough, the Nazis. So, do that. Now you have an army of animated armor in a forest, and your players have to deal with it, and then after they get through the animated armor, they have to deal with the hag. So it gives you the ability to build encounters that are challenging to your players, challenging to their levels, but it's a unique story. It's not just 3 hags standing around a cauldron, double toil and trouble, cauldron bird and fire bubble. Shakespeare. Sorry, I have a writing background. English teacher. So yeah, it's you guys can create what you want to create, when you want to create it, and how you want to create it. You don't have to follow the carbon copy of this is this and this is this, follow it because I said so. Come up with your own original material and make it your own. There's a million different ways to write the story and make it challenging. If you want to throw one hag at a player, or at a group, I should say, well, it's not going to be really a challenging encounter, but you can make it challenging. The hag could create a bunch of animated corpses. She has that ability. So now you have a bunch of flesh golems coming at you. The animated armor stuff. You can make your hags more powerful, or put them into a coven. And, just keep on at it. I mean, I like always 3, because I think Hocus Pocus. I love Hocus Pocus, by the way. Ooh, boys. But you can do Hocus Pocus, there's so many good witch stories, and then there's other ways to mess with it. If you study history, watch culture, or like that, do Salem witch trials on it. The town is up in arms, and they've named a bunch of people as hags, and they're, exterminating them. Down with the hags. Well, it's simple enough to animate that. And so here, I'm gonna flip over here so you guys can see some of the actual terrain we built, and you can see some of the setups. So, I mean, that's actually, wandering through a village, dead body. But some of this stuff is you telling a story. A bunch of cultists in, the forest with a, magic circle, whatever. This one, Ghostbusters. You've got a bunch of ghosts in a cathedral, and a cleric is trying to remove them. You guys tell the story. You can present it however you want. So what I'm telling you now is creating, like, for instance, again, you don't always have to make the hag the enemy, but you can use the hag as the key point of the story. So again, Salem witch trials. How did that happen? This is a good picture to talk about it. The townsfolk freaked out. Some girls accused people of witchcraft, and the town jumped on it and said, oh no, witches. And they arrested them. And those who didn't confess to being a witch were literally hung or pressed. They put a bunch of weights on them and killed them. I mean, you could do that. Have your town go crazy, and everybody is saying, well, you're a hag, you're a hag, you're a hag. And they're just slaughtered. So to present that encounter, let's do it from the beginning. Your party enters a city, town, whatever. Townstead, city, whatever. And as they're entering, there is a woman being hung. They can't save her. It's just, they walk in, you announce it, and she's on the scaffolding and drop. And it doesn't have to be a woman. It can be a male, whatever. Fun fact, Salem witch trials. One of the last people killed was a male, accused of witchcraft. I don't remember his name, but he was pressed to death. They put a board on him and put a ton of weight on him until he died. Sad. He was innocent, obviously. So, they hang this woman when they enter the town, and your players now have the roleplay option. You have them wander around. Wait, what is she being hung for? What happened? Oh, she's a hag. She's a witch. And then you start asking questions. Where'd you get that? Oh, she has the mark. She has the, whatever. Again, look up some of the things for Salem witch trials. There's a lot of crazy stuff for which, hags and witches and that kind of stuff. If you throw them in a lake, the whole thing with Monty Python about, she's made of wood because she floats, and if she weighs the same as a duck, then that's a real thing. Hilariously enough, for Monty Python, that's a real thing. They used to throw you into a river or into a pond, and if you sank, you were innocent, so you drowned. But if you floated, you're marked by the beast or the devil, and they have to kill you now. So it's a lose-lose situation. You die either way. Or they have the test where they put a scalding hot stone, or there would be a stone in the bottom of a boiling pot. You had to reach in and grab the stone and pull it out, and your hand would be obviously all burned. And then they'd put you in this horrible, dirty, dank cell, that kind of thing. And they'd come back like a week later, and if the healing didn't look good, well, then it's the devil, and so you have to die. Well, think about it. You're not in, this is not the modern era where there's, cleanliness is next to godliness. This is like dirt, and so you get infected every time you die. It's dumb. It's dumb. But introduce that into your game. It's you're being creative, and you're using something that, yeah, it's already been used. It's in history, that kind of stuff. But you can create that, so you can build an encounter that the actual monster is not necessarily the hag. It's the townsfolk or the fear themselves, or create an actual fear monster. There is actually a hag, a night hag or something like that, that is causing the townsfolk to do this and targeting people that could have overthrown the night hag, something like that. So that's a couple things, a couple ideas to talk about regarding hags. Thought it'd be interesting to talk about. Again, I want to do these things where you guys get to if you guys drop in chat and give me comments like that, well, we can talk further on it. But a part of the schedule that we're doing now. Like I said, I want to do encounters on a day. I want to do painting on a day. We're going to talk about, I want to do some reviews of some builds. So, you know, like for instance, the big ship, you know, doing a review of, I mean, obviously this is still under construction. But doing a, hey, look, this is what I'm doing. This is, you know, I got this. I've gone through YouTube. I've been 3D printing for a very, very long time for D&D mainly. And although I can find videos everywhere about how to set your printer, how to change your hot end, how do you do, I never see any videos of, I built this model and it's cool and this is what I liked about it, this is what I don't like about it, you know, reviews of that kind of stuff. So there's just some other stuff. I do want to share more of what we actually have. The studio, I'm changing cameras around so you guys can see more and more of the studio. You can see the shelves over on my right here. My right. Anyways, yeah, on my right, your left. You know, I do a bunch. There's more on those shelves than just 3D printing materials. I do everything from acid etching to, in my builds to, we're doing clay sculpting. I'm doing resin pours. We did the model in resin of the dwarven sculpture. I do carpentry. I'm building a custom D&D table. So there's a lot of things that we're doing. A lot of things I want to bring to you guys. But again, hit us up in the comments. Let us know what you guys want to see. I mean, I can set up cameras in my shop and show you, hey, this is what we're doing here. You know, the studio, I mean, you guys can see the printers or probably hear them going in the background. They're both running right now. You can see the lights on. They're both running right now. We're doing a Curse of Strahd build. Still, that's going to be going on for probably months. It's a lot. Like, it is a lot. I mean, I can tell you right now, I'm just printing tiles for, I have probably like 10 of these sets. And I mean, that's just the first set. I'm printing, you know, of every size, and I've got to paint them. And then it comes down to doing the blueprints and, you know, laying them out and building, you know, brick by brick of what we want, you know. And like I said, we want to build the whole Curse of Strahd castle. So, yeah, a lot of stuff more to come. I mean, again, I'll probably make every Saturday. We're going to talk about encounters. So hit up stuff in the comments. If there's a particular monster you want us to talk about, I'll write a bunch of encounters. We'll talk about that. If there is, you know, you want us to actually write like an official, like this is, you know, how could you do this? We can do that. I will think about doing that in the Patreon. You know, people at this membership get a custom written encounter every week, or every month. I can do that, something like that. It's, you guys have to give us the feedback though first of what do you want us to do. So a lot of stuff going on, but yeah, these videos are gonna be shorter, like I said, just because, I mean, it's more of, if you guys want to discuss it, talk about it, look at it, you know, and if you aren't able to do the live stream, hit us up in the comments. I read them. I do. I get tired though of the, that's nice. You know, tell me what you want to see. I'll make it happen. I like attention. I will do what you want for attention. That's how I get paid, is attention. So, all right. Well, anyways, I'm gonna let you guys go. We're probably gonna do some live gaming here in a second. But yeah, this is something I want to do more for the actual channel. Live gaming is me just live gaming. Like, it's just me screwing around. That's not what I started the channel for. That's not what I'm really into. I mean, I'm into video gaming, but it's not what I'm trying to build here. So, but yeah, I will see you guys in the next one. Let your paintbrush tell your story, and we will see you. See you guys.